Hello, and welcome to News Time JA. A 19-year-old man who reportedly attacked his policewoman mother with a knife has died. Dead is Tyrone Erskine. Reports are Erskine and his mother, a police sergeant attached to the St. Catherine North Police, got into a domestic dispute sometime after 7 o'clock Friday evening. Erskine is reported to have attacked his mother with a knife when she shot him multiple times in the upper body. Erskine was taken to hospital where he died while being treated. The incident reportedly occurred at the Ebony Vale, St. Catherine home. It remains unclear what sparked the dispute.
Yeah, man.
Two men who were allegedly attempting to rob patrons at an event in Junction, St. Elizabeth on Sunday morning were killed when they were challenged by licensed firearm holders. Dead are Christopher Gardner and Chavon Hall, otherwise known as Munga. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, says both men are from Clarendon, but they were suspects in several armed robberies in St. Elizabeth.
We're in the Trial Square, where a permitted event took place at this location. The preliminary investigations suggest that during the event, two armed men attempted to rob patrons at this location. They were challenged by licensed firearm holders. As a result of the shooting, two men were shot and killed. Two firearms recovered. We have now been able to identify the two men involved in this incident. One has been identified as Christopher Gardner, the other is Chavon Hall O.C. Munga. Both men are from Clarendon addresses. They have also been featured in several robberies in the St. Elizabeth Division. And so we will continue to this investigation to determine a third person that we believe was involved in this incident. One person has now been picked up as a suspect and is being processed by the CIB. We continue the investigation surrounding this incident. I want to speak to specifically because this community is a very quiet community, the Trial area, and the residents woke up this morning to this kind of news. And so we want to appeal to persons who wish to commit offenses in the St. Elizabeth Division to desist from doing so and to allow good order to be maintained. As it is now, the scenes of crime persons are on the location, the scene is being processed, and the investigation will continue.
Christmas is the season for giving and forgiving. It's the season when we give to each other, even for people who don't have. And it is the season when we also let go of the things that we have held on to, which are holding us down. Things that have happened to us in the past, which are a burden on our hearts and our minds. The season that we give and we forgive.
A few moments later.
We light fires on purpose because the garbage truck doesn't normally come often and people don't know how to prevent fire properly. So I suggest that you make stricter rules.
So you have identified two elements of the solution. One would be rules-based, having penalties for deterrence, preventing people from lighting fires, and for holding people to account who light fires irresponsibly, and for setting a framework in which fires can be lit properly. And then the other element of the solution, which is education and training. So I think you have not only identified the problem, but you have also made a proposal. And I would use your issue to point out to Jamaicans that in the discourse about all that is wrong in the country, it is not sufficient to identify what is wrong without also identifying, proposing, and advocating how we can solve it. So there are so many issues in the country, and everyone knows what is wrong. But how many people have the solution? And that is what makes a difference, right? To be critical Nothing is wrong with being critical. But what we find in Jamaica is that people are destructively critical, meaning they seek to destroy on the basis that they're identifying something that is wrong, rather than being constructively critical, meaning we're trying to identify what is wrong, but trying to build up instead of tearing down. And I think the way in which you have gone about it, you're leading the way. You're being constructive in your criticisms. So, yes, the issue of fire and general public safety and general safety is a big issue. But the general issue of open flames in public spaces and even in your private space, in your backyard, is something that we in Jamaica don't see as a danger. I'm sure many of us listening to this would have grown up in the country or even in urban areas. And when we can't have our garbage picked up, and especially if it is the manicuring of your lawns or the trimming of your hedges, or you have an old shed that you have taken down and you want to dispose of the waste, you burn it. And it's not a real issue. But as we become more urbanized and we're living in closer quarters, we realize that open flames can be very dangerous. But it's also a terrible inconvenience, because it is not that people are burning organic matter. They're also burning plastics and other dangerous waste, which can cause pollution to our air. And can you imagine if all households in Kingston are just burning their rubbish, how dangerous that can be to our atmosphere? So that must be controlled. And there are local regulations that control the burning of fire. And I would take this opportunity, even outside of the enforcement of those regulations, to appeal to the general public not to burn their waste in their backyard, and that if it is necessary, absolutely necessary, that it be controlled, that they have a bucket of water nearby, that they burn it as far as possible from other houses. But if you live in close quarters, you should absolutely not be having an open flame in your backyard. So, having said that, again, let me thank you for your very constructive criticism of how we burn. And again, it comes down to how we, the people, decide to conduct.